It is a rainy day over the river systems that will one day be the vast deserts of Mongolia. The wet season has been bringing in rain for over a month, and the local animals are loving it, as everything from amphibians to small mammals come out in droves to take advantage of the now plentiful resources. The dinosaurs too are enjoying the wet season, and some completely rely on the rains to make the plains and rivers in order to survive, including one of the strangest looking dinosaurs of the Cretaceous, Halszkaraptor. Looking like an odd fusion of goose and velociraptor, this small theropod is not much larger than an average duck. This is indeed a dromeosaur, having the long fingers with hooked claws and lean legs that still bear the sickle-like claw. But this species has evolved to be semi-aquatic, having much shorter tails, webbed hands with a swan-like neck and head, though they retain many serrated teeth in their bill. This truly unique animal not only looks similar to some modern waterfowl, but fills a similar role in its environment. One can often find them swimming across the water's surface, paddling with their legs and occasionally dipping their heads below the water, or even fully diving down in order to find food. While they do go after fish, Halszkaraptor are mostly insectivores, feeding on the countless invertebrates that inhabit the shallow waterways. They are well equipped to do so, as their snouts have special sensory organs that allow them to pick up the tiniest movements made by small prey, a system similar to what modern crocodilians have. While rummaging through mud and around the various plant species throughout their freshwater home, the Halszkaraptor will eat just about anything that fits down their throats, from amphibians to small reptiles. Even tiny shrew-like mammals that venture near the water aren't safe, as despite their size and frail appearance, these are still fierce and effective hunters. At this time of year when the waterways are full, the Halszkaraptor are at their busiest, trying to find as much food as possible to fatten up before the long dry season ahead. Many can be seen cruising across the water or diving for a few seconds before returning to the surface. The females are busy, but the males are doubly so, as they have to feed themselves and defend their territory from other males. Each one patrols their stretch of shore as frequently as they can, wanting as large a patch as possible, and if they find any intruding males, they chase them off or have to fight them. When two males fight, it can take place on land or in the water, but it usually involves a lot of showing off, as each competitor stretches out their fingers, expanding their webbing. They then flap their arms as much as possible while craning their necks up to the sky to see who is the tallest. If a winner cannot be decided by showmanship, then violence may follow, and it can get quite vicious. The males will peck, bite, kick, and claw at each other, using any part of their body as a weapon to brutalize each other. Often it looks like a blur of motion, but each strike could end with a pulled muscle, broken bone, or worse. While many fights are sorted before major injury is caused to either male, and deaths are rare, some can be left with serious injuries that will inhibit their ability to hunt or evade predators. An injured Halszkaraptor usually doesn't survive very long. While the males patrol and tussle, the females they are competing for are doing their best to avoid them. It is not the mating season just yet, so they are only concerned with eating and sleeping, though some males do get over-eager sometimes and try to display to their potential suitors. They will simply be ignored until the females themselves are ready in a few weeks' time. If a male doesn't take the hint, however, it is not uncommon for him to get chased away by a very angry female that just wants to be left alone. It is usually the younger, more inexperienced males that make this mistake. The older individuals know to just be patient and wait for the females to become receptive. After mating, the female will lay a clutch of eggs and incubate them for a month. After they hatch, the young will stay with their mother for about 2 months. After this period, they are on their own. The first year is crucial, as many yearlings don't make it through their first dry season, where the waterways they rely upon dry up and much of their food gets much harder to find. But those that do make it will have gained the experience to survive in this often rapidly changing world, and may go on to have young of their own. Hello fellow travellers and welcome back. Today we will be breaking down the strange looking goose raptor chimera, Halszkaraptor. Halszkaraptor is known from a single, almost 100% complete skeleton. However, when and where it was found isn't fully known, as this skeleton was originally taken by fossil poachers in Mongolia and sold onto the black market, travelling between different dealers and countries for many years, until it came into the hands of Francois Escoulé in 2015, who gave it to the Royal Belgium Institute of Natural Sciences so it could be properly studied. After many tests to prove it wasn't a forgery and a detailed description of the specimen, the fossil was returned to Mongolian authorities. Though its exact location of discovery isn't known for sure, it's assumed to have come from the Dodgedasita Formation, meaning the animal lived during the Campanian of the late Cretaceous between 75 and 71 million years ago. A full detailed description of Halszkaraptor was published in 2017, and showed it belongs to the dromeosaur family, the same family as the famous Velociraptor, Utahraptor, and Deinonychus. A new clade was made for Halszkaraptor and its close relatives, that being Halszkaraptorinae, which is a very basal group within the dromeosaur family. The only other members are Marfakala and Halsapens. Both are known from very fragmentary remains, but are now thought to potentially be very similar to Halszkaraptor. In life, Halszkaraptor would have been similar in size to many duck or chicken species, being 60 centimeters from nose to tail and only weighing about half a kilo. Overall, it is a very unique looking animal, having a duck-like beak that still is packed with small serrated teeth, a long goose-like neck that makes up half its length, a short body that was held upright instead of horizontal like most theropods, long arms and fingers that may have been webbed, a short tail, and long legs that still retain the sickle or killing claw of its dromeosaur cousins. It's clear that Halszkaraptor had evolved for a semi-aquatic lifestyle, so let's break down its anatomy in more detail. Looking at the skull, we can see it's quite flat overall. The snout is long and expands at the tip of the jaws, creating a spoon-shaped profile from the top view. The nostrils aren't on the snout tip, but further back along the top jaw. This position is unique in theropods. Halszkaraptor has a lot of teeth. Both premaxilla have 11 each, which is the most of any species of dinosaur. These teeth were small, closely packed together, so close some even touched, and were gradually recurved. The maxilla had between 20 and 25 teeth. These were larger, more spaced, and only curved at the tips. In the skull are chambers that scientists believe would have housed electrosensory organs that could detect the movement of prey in the water. These are similar to what crocodilians have in their skulls, though both evolved these features independently for a similar use. The long neck only contains 10 vertebrae, but these vertebrae have elongated greatly, giving the animal the longest neck-to-body ratio of all known Mesozoic paravians. In fact, only a few modern birds have a higher ratio. The neck ribs are quite short, and all the vertebrae have large spaces that would have been filled with air sacs. The long neck and short tail would have brought Halszkaraptor's center of gravity forward to the chest, so while walking on land it would have held its body more upright, but this is also an adaptation for swimming. So when it was on the water, it likely held itself flat against the water's surface, looking much like a modern waterfowl. In general, Halszkaraptor seems suited for life both in and out of water, as its legs are much longer and better suited for running than almost any modern semi-aquatic bird. It even retains the dromeosaur family's signature sickle claw on its second toe, though it is somewhat reduced. Whether it was still used in the animal's life from pinning prey or in fighting between its own kind is more up for speculation. It is believed that Halszkaraptor had webbing between its fingers and maybe even its toes. Using its flipper-like arms may have been the primary way that it propelled itself across the water. But not just that, as it's thought that Halszkaraptor would often have to dive beneath the water in order to find food, and would use its forearms to swim, in a way similar to penguins or more accurately, like gannets. So what was Halszkaraptor hunting as it floated across the water, swam beneath it, and used its special electrosensory organs to detect for prey? Fish are the obvious call. One analysis compared Halszkaraptor to modern mergansers, which have tooth-like serrations in their bills and do often go after fish. Well, it's entirely possible that that's the case, but some argue that it didn't, citing features such as it having low bone density, not seen in many semi-aquatic animals. But a study in 2024 that looked at the skull morphology and bite force in dromeosaurs found that Halszkaraptor had a rapid bite, unsuited to piscivorous feeding, and suggested instead that it was an insectivore that hunted small invertebrates, possibly in low-light conditions, due to dromeosaurs having excellent vision in general. This to me seems most likely, especially based on its size and many of its modern relatives. As a carnivore, Halszkaraptor likely fed on anything it could catch or find. In a few ways, it reminds me of a platypus, which are also mostly insectivores and also have electroreceptors in their bills for detecting movement in the water. So, Halszkaraptor. What an amazing little dinosaur. Just when you think you've seen everything, a new discovery blows you out of the water. No pun intended. But what do you think of Halszkaraptor? And for my question of the week, do you see this species feeding only from the water, or occasionally foraging on land when necessary? What lesser known dinosaur would you like me to do a breakdown on next? And until then, please like, share, subscribe, and thank you for watching.